Hey coconuts, welcome back to the kingdom. I don't think I've shown these tanks before in my channel, but I had them set up for a couple months now. Just try to ignore Blue in the background. She's probably gonna scream throughout the whole video. So anyways, these are my Guppy tanks. I have a 10 gallon and a 5.5 here. So this one up here houses my adult guppies, and then I've been moving the fry down here, and they also live with some cherry shrimp. Before this tank was actually a fry tank, I just used it to move my fish into it and hold it while my 22 gallon cycled, and I can move them into there. Basically, I never really had it scaped or planned out or anything. I just ended up throwing everything in there just to get them moved, and then I ended up just moving the fry into this tank, so it's just never been scaped. I have a ton of dragonstone laying around, which I just kind of threw in this bag right here, and I think I'm gonna scape it today. So I will try to get you guys a close-up of the tank before so you can see how it is. Again, there's no scape, there's no concept, it's just everything thrown into there. So yeah, that's about it. Let's get started. So this is gonna be the before. There's just pothos growing out. There's some over here too. These are the pothos roots right here. Then I just have a pot of crypt right here, a pot of microsaurs, and there's like a ball of moss. And then there's just dragonstone, but yeah, it's all sand, super low tech, and I just want it to get to a really nice scape. So I'm just gonna start taking the duckweed out first, so I can actually move around in this tank. And I guess I had some Anubias floating around in there too. So I pretty much just removed all the plants. Then I'm gonna clip the pothos roots just to give myself some space. And then after that, we'll start the rocks. So this is a good majority of the root system. It may take the pothos some time to bounce back, but it'll be fine and it's not going to harm it. So I'm probably going to leave the rocks I have in there already. I'll probably just smooth out the sand first to get myself a good base, and then I'll start laying the rocks. I kind of want to do a little bit of a canyon to where it goes higher and then lower, higher and lower, but we'll see. I kind of just go with it whenever I scape any of my tanks. And it's going to be a little difficult because I do have to keep the lid on. The light's attached to it and I don't want to take it off, and it'll be harder for you guys to see after too. So I'm gonna start choosing rocks out of the bag now, and then I just toss them in there, and then I'll start moving them around inside of the tank. I also have to keep in mind that like whatever scape I do, I'm still gonna have to be able to remove the sponge easily without destroying the scape too, because once in a while I do have to clean the sponge, so I don't want to make it hard on myself just to grab a sponge and do maintenance on my normal tank with the scape. I think I'll go with this one. A small one in there just for some texture. This one for sure. Oh, that was close. I might try this one too. Keep in mind also that when you do choose your hardscape, it's not a piece of rock that you're gonna have to use. Like, you could always take it out of the tank and you can always buy more. Sometimes you get so stuck on using specific rocks in the scape and you're just not happy with it. Sometimes you can just take one out and like just use one rock. There's so much you can do with hardscape. There's pretty much no right or wrong way that I can tell you how to use hardscape. So pretty much my concept is just keep playing with the rocks until you like something you see. It's all about how you feel about your scape. It doesn't matter what other people think. I think this one might just be too tall. maybe. Okay, I think I'm gonna try this one because it does have the tall texture, and I do want the tall to the end and then short in the front. So I'm gonna see if I can work with this one. Just because that's my only choice, and this one is simply too big. So if you can tell already, it's kind of already a pain in the ass just to maintain this tank because I don't have a lot of space here. It's just a lot of the time, you gotta give something for something to look nice. So that one has a weird angle on the bottom. So I'm just gonna grab a smaller rock to support the bottom so it doesn't fall inside of the tank. And maybe you want it a little bit upright more too. I did stir up the water a little bit, so it is a little murky, but pretty much for some contrast, I added a little bit of height on this side, but more on this side, and then low in the middle. So it kind of looks like it's going backwards and gives the tank a little more depth and makes the tank look bigger than it actually is. So I'm very happy with the Aquascaped. I kind of just played with it for 5 to 10 minutes. So now I'm just gonna put the plants back in there. It is a bit of a thin layer of sand, so I'm not sure if the roots are gonna hold, but I'm gonna try my best. Maybe wedge some plants into the cracks of rocks and see how they'll do. If they don't hold after a while, then I pretty much just have to get some more sand to add on there, but it's no big deal. Okay, so I'm gonna start splitting up the plants now, and then I'll start planting it. For any potted plants, you do want to take them out, and this is rock wool, the stuff that's around it. You pretty much just peel it off and expose all the roots of the plants. And I say plants because usually when you do buy pots, especially the crypts, it's more than one that you could split up into multiple. I normally leave them in a clump of a few plants, so it's a little more bushy, but I like to take the majority of them apart. So I can leave these two and just split it off at the base and peel it. And then same with the rest of it. So you could get a lot out of it if you wanted to, but I think I'm just gonna leave it in 3 main bunches just because crypts do get large and it's gonna be easier for me to maintain. And then I also had a pot of microswords. It's kind of just been dying in there. I guess I can just pull them out of here. So I guess so I suppose I killed all the microswords roots by not pulling them out of the pot soon enough, but they're still green and I can still plant them in there and they'll probably establish over time. So what I can tell you about microswords is it is a carpeting plant, so it is going to grow runners and spread around the tank. You can do microswords in low tech, you just have to wait for it to establish, which is going to be a very long time. But it is worth the patience because it still grows pretty lush compared to dwarf hair grass, which usually you want highlight or CO2 with, or both. And then I just have one plant of Echinodorus Vesuvius, which is just like a spirally sword plant. I don't know why the camera's not focusing, so I don't know if I just showed you guys a bunch of fuzzy plants. I also have some Anubias Nana Petite that I'll just shove into the crevices of the rocks. And the moss that I have, I'll probably just shove in the back somewhere too so it can grow upwards. I think it's flame moss, but It kind of just grew into a ball in my shrimp tank, so I have no idea what it really is. Okay, so let's get to putting the plants in the tank. I do have my plants and tweezers, but I don't know how I'm gonna work with it in the tank because there's not much space to work around in here. So when you do add plants, just remember they do grow bigger and they will fill out. So wherever you put them, think about how they'll look when they grow bigger too. So I think I just put one cribbed up here. It can be like a nice bushy little corner. I'll add some symmetry on the other side. And then I have one more. The microswords, I'm pretty much just bunching it up since they have no roots, and then I'll just shove them into the substrate where they can establish and grow their own roots. I'm just gonna poke myself in here real quick. With plants like Anubias, they're rhizome plants and you need the rhizome exposed so they live. The rhizome is basically that stem that the leaves grow off with. You can't put that in substrate or put it where it gets no light. So as long as it's exposed, you can literally have it floating around the tank, or you just jam it into a rock where it still gets partial light. Or just don't bury the rhizome altogether on Anubias. Okay, and last I just have the moss ball. I think I'm just gonna jam it into that corner. I don't really want to do anything with it. Just gonna poke it in there. That's where the other sponge filter is, and hopefully it grows upwards. We'll see. I finished putting the plants in, but one thing I totally forgot about that I think is very important to any scape are accent stones, and that's pretty much like any of the rock you have, pretty much small pieces to break up the scale and add a little bit more of a natural look. So that's it finished now. I'll show you guys up close, but I just want to show you guys first the difference that like just throwing accent stones in there can make. So sometimes I like to place them around, and like other times I'll just toss them in there to make them look a little more natural. So yeah, that's pretty much all you have to do with that. Okay, so like I said, I did want some of the canyon feel. So taller in the sides and then lower in the middle, it gives it some depth, and larger plants up front also make it look closer and smaller at back. And then I just scattered out the stone. So that is the complete rescape of the Guppy fry tank, and that's how it's gonna look. I also want to show you guys the 10-gallon adult Guppy tank, and I'll get you some close-ups on those ones too. But I just never formally introduced the Guppy rack, shelf, system, table formally on my channel because I normally focus on Instagram. So now that we got this done and that done, everything's complete, and I think that's the wrap up to this video. So again guys, please, if you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I think that's gonna be a wrap to this video until I see you next time guys. Bye everyone. I'll show you guys the guppies. I almost forgot.